Linguistics versus traditional grammar. Linguistics, the scientific study of language. So we can define linguistics as science of language or the scientific study of language. By the same, we mean that the linguist also apply the same rules which a scientist applies when he or she is dealing with his work. The definition is hardly sufficient to give the reader any positive indication of the fundamental principles of the subject. So when we say that the scientific study of language, this definition only can give us that the linguist also works like a scientist. But the reader of linguistics needs to know more. He needs to know that what are the principles on which this scientific study bases. So let's look at those principles. Linguistics studies the origin, organization, and natural development of a language. So the study of linguistics talks about how language originated, where language originated, which group started using that language, and how different aspects of the language were different layers of the language like phonology, syntax, morphology, etc. were organized, and natural development of a language. How this language developed naturally. There was no external imposed influence on the development of the language. The language developed as the human being evolved in a certain society. So the linguist studies these aspects of the development of a language. So the linguist formulates general rules and regulations of grammar. So when the linguist studies the language, its origin, its organization, its development, so as a result of his work, he formulates rules and regulations that how language works, especially the grammar of the language that consists of the phonology, the morphology, the syntax and semantics, and also the pragmatics, how language is used. So we talk about the scientific approach of linguistics. Some scientific and there are certain disciplines in which certain things are scientific and certain are non-scientific. For example, there may be some discipline which based on intuition or speculation. Contrary to this, linguistics works on the basis of certain scientific principles. So linguistics scientific approaches are as follows. The principles that bases the subject are objectivity, empiricism, rationalism, exhaustiveness, consistency, and economy. So these are the approaches with which a linguist works and studies language. Let's now look at what is objectivity. When we say objectivity, it means that no primitive. The linguists say that no language is good because it's very primitive. There is no room for a primitive language to be better than other languages. No language is pure. All languages are equal. No language has something of beauty in it, or no language has cultural or sophisticated aspect to it. So all languages are equal. Empiricism means not a speculative or intuitive. It does not base on guesses or unexplainable facts. So it bases on observation, experiment. The linguist makes an analysis of the data provided to him, and then he makes certain generalizations, certain theories regarding the language. Rationalism, role that mind plays in the acquisition of knowledge. So this approach tells that it comes from the mind, right? So how we learn language, it discusses how language is learned, the first language as well as the second language. And then exhaustiveness deals with all relevant data. The linguist takes the whole data provided to him and then he analyzes. He analyzes the data. He does not leave anything to guesses or intuitions. Consistency allows no contradictory statements. When theories are made on the basis of linguistic data, there is no contradiction. When the linguist says that the structure of the language is in a certain way, then nobody can bring any other formulation or any other structure which contradict the structure given by the linguist. So economy, repetition is not allowed. When the linguists make some statements, they do not repeat things again and again. They make very concise and precise statements, and these are very economic, fewer concept or symbols. He works on it and then comes up with fewer concepts so that it could be explainable in a better way, or whatever symbols are used, they are used in a very minimal quantity. So like any scientific discipline, linguistics too is not static. Since the beginning of the studies on linguistics, there has been a lot of development, a lot of change. So like any discipline which is progressing, which is alive, linguistics too is not static, and it's improving day by day. Viewpoints and theoretical methods in the field change even in fundamental ways from time to time. So all the theories are subject to discussion, and with the passage of time, more data comes and new methods are developed or new methodology is developed, and as a result new theories are given. So linguistics is a science and it's not a static topic. It is improving day by day.